Nick, new Seahawks coaching staff, new year for the Seahawks. I think we got out of the draft. There's a lot of great picks there. We roll into minicamp, but we've seen some interesting undrafted free agents hit the field, guys that are really looking kind of good, maybe sneaky steals for the Seahawks. Let's get into the article and then maybe talk about one guy in particular that Mike McDonald and co may have drummed up. Let's get in the article. This is from over on Seattle Sports. It says Buda Jones, a 6'1", 307-pound nose tackle out of Troy, is one such player who's drawn the attention of former NFL receiver Michael Bumpus. Jones participated in Seattle's rookie minicamp as a tryout player this past weekend and then was signed on the team's 90-man roster on Sunday. Bumpus watched Jones' college film and gave a rave review of him during Seattle Sports Bump and Stacy on Monday. When you watch the film, I go, how do I describe this guy? Bumpus said, he's like the ocean current. He is like the motion in the ocean. He's moving massive men left and right. When you watch this guy play, they might have found something in this dude right here. If there's a guy that you want to root for during this preseason that no one really knows about, take a look at this guy. Nick, it sounds like Seattle may have found a hidden gem at defensive tackle in a guy like Buda Jones. I'm curious what your thoughts are, but Seattle fans, in the comment section below, as minicamp has started, as we start to see things going on, out of all the players in the draft, who do you think is going to start to create the most buzz on this Seahawks team? Just the guys in undrafted free agents and they got out of the draft. Who do you think is going to create the most noise during minicamp, training camp? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about Jones?
I think he has the potential to be one of those undrafted free agent steals. And look, historically, the Seahawks have done very well in that department in terms of getting a lot of steals in terms of undrafted free agents. And Buda Jones is one of those guys who fits the mold of what you're looking for in an undrafted free agent who goes on to have a big impact. Here is a guy in Buda Jones who's very limited in his skill set, right? He's not a pass rusher. He's not a three technique, a defensive tackle who lines up a lot in the B gap outside the guard. He's not a disruptive force in terms of being a penetrator and an athletic playmaker, the way we see some other defensive tackles. He is an old school interior defensive lineman, run stuffing, nose guard, defensive tackle, right? That's who he is. That's what he is. Now, the great news for Jones is that he's really, really darn good at it. And throughout the draft process, a lot of times what happens is a lot of players who are really good at one thing and not really good at a lot of other things, they fall late in the draft or sometimes fall out of the draft completely. Jones is a great example of it, but he can still play the run extremely well. He did a great job of that at Troy, was very effective. PFF rated him very highly in that regard. He is a strong physical player at the point of attack. And look, this is a Seahawks defense that finished 31st in tackling last season and 23rd against the run, according to PFF. This was an area that Seattle needs some help in. They've done a good job in free agency trying to address it. But I think adding a guy like Buda Jones in the mix to compete potentially for playing time for the Seattle defense, again, at that interior defensive line spot, that nose guard one technique position, is a really smart move because you're not asking him to play if he plays and makes the team, which I think he's got a really good chance to, but you're not asking him to play 30 snaps a game, 50 snaps a game. You're asking him to play 5, 7, 8, 10, some first and 10s, some third and 1s, some things like that, just to make sure a team doesn't get to 2nd and 5, they get to 2nd and 9. That's all you're looking for in Buda Jones. They had a lot of problems with that last year. The Seahawks did stop in the run. I look at Jones as a guy who can come in right away. Again, he's not great at a lot of things. He's only great at one thing, but it's exactly where Seattle needs the most help at. I think this was a great move by the Seahawks, and Seattle fans, pay attention to the name Buda Jones. This is not the last time you'll be hearing about him.
Yeah, Nick, I think this is a great move for Seattle, mainly because of Mike McDonald's ability to develop just that position. You think of a guy who's a little bit shorter in stature, like Michael Pierce out of Baltimore. He came in and absolutely killed it in the Mike McDonald defense. Had two of his highest grades of his career, 86.9 and an 80.1 the last 2 years in Baltimore. And he was a force in the middle of that defensive line. This is also a guy came from a small school at Samford, very much like a guy like Jones. So I think Mike McDonald's the perfect guy to take a guy like Jones, develop him, and get absolutely the most out of him. He fits the body type, he fits the build, and I think that he can come in and really be an interesting guy to be developed in this Seahawks defense and work his way up through the ranks And like we said, this guy could be a steal for the draft. Obviously, they've got guys like Leonard Williams. They've got guys like Jaron Reed. This is more of a future play to me. I think, as he develops throughout the season, he gets more and more playing time. We start to see some flashes from him the next year, the next 2 years. I think this is a guy who can take over this Seahawks roster and really potentially be the next big thing at the center of the defensive line. So I'm excited about Jones. I want to see how he keeps doing through minicamp, through training camp. But already early on, we've heard so many promising things. It looks like they might have found the real deal. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, even your relatives. It's all out there. That's why we use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows us which data brokers are selling our information and automatically submits opt-out requests for us.
Cleaning up our information not only reduces the amount of that stupid spam we all get, but it also protects us from hackers who could use this information to help them access our social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also does much more to protect us and our families from online threats. We also get features like antivirus protection, VPNs, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. That's really key. One location to get all this great stuff. It's really easy to set up. And the best of all, we get everything at one affordable price.
And you may already have one or two of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on doing the hard work to keep you safe so you can focus on other tasks and have peace of mind. We value our privacy and we value yours. You can go to aura.com/Saturday to start your 2-week free trial. Also, link below in the description. Again, aura.com/Saturday for your free 2-week trial.